Hey guys, it's Saru, and Swords of Legends Online has released so many raids that I'm exhausted, mentally, physically, and sexually. Now every week for the past month there has been a brand new raid, and that doesn't change this week, with Realm of Destroyed Evil and its brand new 2 bosses. So, as always, we'll be going over every single mechanic, how to do them, how to handle them, all the things and all the stuff. And again, if you need additional help or you'd like my captain assistant for it, you can go over to solo.sarumonin.com, as most of my guides as well as files will be there for every single raid and dungeon that has released in Swords of Legends Online. So once again, we'll be going over every single mechanic, or rather the more important ones, the key mechanic ones. In this way, you'll be able to clear the raid without any issues, usually. So, let's get right into it. Now these 2 bosses are really not too difficult. I'm just going to give you a disclaimer right there. There is a requirement for 2 tanks just for different types of reasons. For the first boss, mainly for the aggro switch on the injury, and I will be going over all of that. So let's start with the first boss, Heart Demon. As I said, the tanks, you should be switching on the injury skill. When he does this, the players around you should use damage reduction. For some strange reason, this is going to attack everybody that is near the vicinity of you, and usually will require a cleanse from the healer. Injury is just a very complicated aggro switch. That's all you need to know. Now the base information that players need to know is that if you have Alone and Helpless debuff, you want to stay close to your team, melee with melee or near the tank, range with ranged or with the healers. If you're not close to somebody, you're going to get something called Heart Demon Distraction debuffs, and they're going to be stacked. Once you get 10 stacks, you're basically going to die, so you want to stay close to somebody to remove these stacks altogether. So for phase 1, pretty much everything that you need to be worried about is the Alone and Helpless debuff. That's all you need to be dealing with and figuring out how to handle with your groups. I don't know if you have a lot of range or if you have a lot of melee, but you want to kind of fix that together for yourselves. So you just want to stick together. And just an FYI, all of these mechanics in phase 1 will repeat in every single phase, so phase 2, 3, and 4. So for Heart Demon Explosion, when this happens, it's going to choose a specific player. Pretty much, they're going to be knocked out into the air. You want to control the time here and use CC break so you can get out of the position of it and go back to your players. Otherwise, you're going to get the Alone and Helpless debuff. A lot of this is to try to trick you to stay away from players, but you don't want to do that. Now, if you're targeted with poisonous words, that is what the skill is called, you just want to basically stay there and have everybody else to spread away from you. This usually will target the person with the highest HP, so just keep an eye out on that and just don't get hit by it. If you are going to be targeted by it, you're going to have to get it. Try to DR it if you have to, but if you can, try to dodge out of it. Now, if you get targeted with Dark Side of the Heart Demon is essentially going to give you a random doppelganger ghost. The easiest way to basically do this is to run away from the clone and break the bond. Just stay away for a little bit and go back to your position. Again, you don't want to get the Alone and Helpless debuff. So essentially, that's all you need to deal with is the Alone and Helpless debuff. Kind of get used to that. Don't stay too far away from your team members. And when he uses special mechanics, make sure to do them quickly and go back to your position. Now, phase 2 is pretty easy. He's going to essentially grab everybody inside of him and have everybody tickle his body, and everyone's going to be knocked out. In this segment of the fight, in phase 2, everyone is going to be out of their bodies collecting these red orbs that you can see on my screen here. You're going to be needing 100 stacks. Now, every single one usually gives you 10, but again, you want to be standing near people, not too close, but you want to be close to them so they don't get an Alone and Helpless debuff. Now, during this whole phase, you have 60 seconds to do all of this. You need 100 stacks. You need to go find your real body, which is pretty simple. You just need to know what you look like. I am going to assume that you do know how you look like. Go to your character. All you have to do is stand by them and it will resurrect the body. If after 60 seconds you have not done this, you will stay dead during the entire fight. Now, obviously you can be revived, but I'm just letting you know. So if your body has already been found and you want to help somebody, you can do that. While they're a ghost, just accompany them so they don't get any stacks. And that's it for phase 2. It's just this mini game. Now, phase 3 is even more simple, I would say. At this point, all you have to do is use Q and E depending on your keyboard layout, or left click and right click to block demons. The boss is essentially going to disappear, and there are going to be 2 demons on the field. One that's going to be shooting a straight line at you, and one that's going to target you with a circle. Everyone wants to be spread out, but not too far apart. You don't want to necessarily stand together to attack each other by accident with reflected damage, which you can do with these left click and right click new mechanics, but you do also want to be close enough that you don't gain a lot of stacks of Alone and Helpless debuff. So when you're targeted with a single line, you only want to use the left click, the one that only produces a very small shield. If you're targeted with a circle underneath you, you want to use right click, or if you really need HP, this will recover some of your HP. None of the players will be able to use any other skills other than this. It only lasts about 1 minute. So everyone just needs to stay alive and take care of their own debuffs and their HP using these 2 skills. Now after this, we'll basically start phase 4. The boss will summon 4 monsters, and the team needs to be divided to kill the mobs at the same time. Sort of. Let me explain how that works. There are going to be separate teams, and you want to stand in the circle in order to protect yourselves from certain damage. I'm not talking about the red circle, but I will explain which circle in a second. I'm just giving you the basis here. Now, if it's a 10-player group, it's going to be 3 people per circle. If it's 14 players, it will be 4 people per circle. And if it's 18 or higher, so up to 20, it will be 5. Tanks do not stand in the circles that I will explain in a minute again. I know you guys are thinking, what circles? I don't know what you're talking about, Sarumonin. Well, I will let you know, so just pay attention to the Alone and Helpless debuff while you're doing this. Okay, so getting that out of the way. So what you want to do is you have 60 seconds at this point usually. You need to fight all the mobs and get them down to 5 to 10% HP. I would recommend 5% because a lot of groups are not more than 10 people, sometimes they're 11 or 12. So get them each to 5% and do not kill them. You want to wait it out. There is a reason for this. You can kill them if you want to, but if you do, it will drop the circle that I'm mentioning that will protect you, but that circle only lasts for 30 seconds. So listen to what I'm about to say. You wait it out for 5%. The boss is going to go enter the moon. This is where you need to kill the mobs immediately. When he's going into the moon and becoming one with the world, you need to kill the mobs, otherwise it will kill everybody. You can stand in the circle during this time. With the puddles or circles that the mobs leave, you only have a certain amount of people in it, like I already mentioned. If you have 10 people, it's 3 people. If you have 14, it's 4. If it's 18 or higher, it's 5. So this right here is going to be the burn phase, and it is a DPS check. You will get one of 3 things, either the Plague of Evil Ghost effect, which means that you're going to be safe from the Blood Moon Swallow effect. That's usually because you have the right amount of people inside. If there's too many people, you're going to get the Bubbling Demon Aura effect, which means at this point, someone in that circle needs to get out of the circle, stand in the vortex, and be voted off the island. Otherwise, it will create the Demonic Key Frenzy attack, and it could likely kill everybody in that circle. So again, you don't want to kill the mobs before the Moon Erosion phase because the puddles only last for 30 seconds, and it's better to use the puddles during this time to kill the boss. So yes, you're hearing that correctly. Basically, the boss needs to be killed within 30 seconds of these puddles, or you're going to need to rely on the healers at this point, and there is a lot of damage at this point. So I recommend using Bladeheart in this phase. And that's it for boss 1. Now boss 2. This boss also has 4 phases. There isn't really an aggro switch of any sort, but you do get a lot of stacks, so you want to kind of decide on where you want to switch at that point. So at the start of the fight, he's going to summon the Flying Demon and the Mistblade Demon to join the battle and fight everybody. These 2 demons will share the same HP. The tank can pull both of them to fight them at the same time. It doesn't really matter much. Again, they share the same HP. My recommendation, I find this easier, is to kind of keep the Flying Demon where it is and then fight the Mistblade Demon away somewhere else. Or you can fight them together and then just turn clockwise or counterclockwise. That's probably easier for everybody, and just not have anybody get hit by the Flying Demon or the Mistblade Demon. The choice is yours and how you want to fight them. These are my 2 recommendations. Now you're going to want to assign a couple of people to deal with the demon eye claws on both sides of the field. You might have noticed there are eyeballs or hands or whatever, Halloween back accessories as I call them, around the battlefield. They will have a purple circle and a red circle underneath them. They're very easy to handle, and all you need to do is to step in a purple or red and then go to the opposite color. So step in a purple and a red and then have them attack each other and dodge. Do not get hit in the process. You can dodge these. It is recommended for a Spirit Warrior or a Fox Mage to deal with these due to the amount of dodges they have. So you could do it just like I'm doing it right here. It's very simple, and they do keep respawning, so you want to handle these as quickly as possible. Once phase 2 starts, and it will start once you kill the Mistblade and the Flying Demon, Eyang will eat every single claw that's remaining on the battlefield and increases attack by 5% per claw eaten. So let's talk about the demons really quickly. The Flying Demon will get the folding wings and lying on the ground effect, which what it is that he's immune to damage, and he's just going to spam the Demon Sight skill. You don't want to get hit by the Demon Sight. It will give you debuff stacks of the Demon Gaze Seal, and no, it's not cleansable. After this spamming, he will shoot anybody who has that debuff, and depending on the amount of stacks, you might die. So just avoid the red cone. It's as simple as that. For the Mistblade Demon, it's going to target the furthest person away and throw knives at it. Getting hit by these knives increases the attack that the demon gets by 15% each hit. So what that person needs to do that's being targeted with the blades is bring the knives back to the demon, it will nullify the effect and it will remove the 15% buff. During this time, that same target with the blades will also receive a barrier effect. And what this does for about 15 seconds is that it reduces your movement speed by 50%. So yes, it is painful, but you need to bring it to the Mistblade demon. And lastly, for the Mistblade demon, when he does Mistblade circulation, the melee needs to stay away and not get hit by the blades whatsoever. It's just unnecessary damage, and it's something to learn for hard mode. So at this point, everybody should already be dealing with these. There should really not be too many hands on the ground, correct? So phase 2 begins. You've killed the demons. One is enough. Again, it is sheer damage. So Eyang will devour all the remaining claws on the field, and each one, like I said, will give him a stack of 5% attack buff. He will then follow it up by doing King of the World. Players need to beat the living shit out of him in order to break his shield and then interrupt 3 times or higher. Otherwise, he's going to do an AoE and likely wipe the party. Yes, it is a DPS check, like I said. Now, both demons that you just killed are hiding. They're being sneaky little chalupas, so eventually they will sneak up on a random player from time to time. And they will give you stacks about something that I'm about to talk about. Now, with Horror of Heavenly Demons, basically all of the attacks that Eyang does will scare players, and it will give them the Horror of Heavenly Demons stack. At 100 stacks, you'll get stunned, you'll receive the Panic debuff, which will give you a minus 100% skill immunity debuff, which essentially means you'll be hit for 100% more. Every single one of the attacks that he does, this is for you tanks, will increase it by 5. So between 65 and 70, you probably want to switch, but again, this is your call. You are the tanks. I'm just telling you how this works. So an additional thing for this, it's wonderful. If you get targeted by the Attacked by Demonic Claws debuff, it must be cleansed, as every single second it will increase your stack by 3. This debuff is caused by the attack called Demon Eyes March, and anyone near it will get this debuff. Now, if you get this debuff, I recommend, just like in Ruins of Nuo, if you've done this, just go to a designated area with your healers, go to the sides, anywhere that you've talked about already, and cleanse that, and then go back to the fight. Be careful with the pickup. All you have to do with that is stay out of his way. And that's all for phase 2. Phase 3 starts at 69%. LMAO, that's right, I spelled it out. All you need to do is interrupt out hunting. So this is something for the range to handle. You're going to charge at somebody, and during that charge, you're going to need to interrupt them. That's all you need to do with that. The second one is the Invincible Might attack. All you want to do is damage share. Now, at around 60%, the Flying Demon's going to return. He's going to be a wonderful person. Usually he's about 17% HP, but he's going to be using an AoE and attacking every single person, giving them a demonic gaze stack. And he's going to just attack everybody, and you can interrupt this and help somebody by going in between the attack of the bullets or fireballs, whatever you want to call them. But in this particular phase, the tank should be taking the boss elsewhere, and all the DPS should be burning down the Flying Demon. But again, keep an eye on the things that he's going to do with his interrupts and damage share while you're doing this. You need to burn down the Flying Demon, but you also need to handle a lot of these mechanics that the boss itself is doing. One of the skills that the boss is going to do is called Earth is Greatest. Some of these names, let me tell you. Players want to walk away from the boss to create a bigger donut safe zone. Don't cross frames with other players. No crossing the streams here, fellas. The reason for this is because if your circle overlaps somebody and hits somebody, rip. So you want to coordinate it in a way that maybe you make a nice flower. I don't know. That's up to you. So you've burned him down to 35%. Phase 4 activates. This is the DPS race phase. At this point, he's going to summon 3 Demon Eyes Claws at a time. You can't cancel them out. If you touch them, they're just going to attack you. So when he uses Sky Demon Command, he will have all of the Demon Claws attack one person. That means every single one on the battlefield, there could be 90, they will all attack one person. Players can mitigate this again by blocking the fireballs or bullets direction, and if you've done the secret boss in Jubao, you know how to mitigate some of those attacks that it's attacking the boss itself. Similar feeling kind of there. So while he's doing all of that, he's going to do Conquer as well. He's going to rush at a target, and everyone should stay away. Try to dodge this as best as you can, and melee should be nowhere near him when he does this. Usually this is going to be towards the tank, just melee need to avoid all this. Even if it costs you your rotation or your burst or your clean slate. And of course the damage share for ground cover. Ground cover is usually something that the tank will get. What the tank needs to do is go to the direction of the DPS. It's the easiest way to coordinate. But keep in mind in the damage share, while you're doing that, he's also going to summon 3 demons to just attack near the damage share, usually in between. So just stay away from the red circle and you'll be fine. And finally, the last mechanic, All Silent. The boss is going to target somebody, jump on them, and deal AoE damage. be careful with the ground. Person that's targeted and anyone near him or her should dodge. It looks exactly like this. Now this is the phase where you should be using Blade Heart for phase 4. You don't want to enter the red circles for the demon eyes, as I said, as all they're going to do is attack you and they're just going to kill you. And once you burn them down, you're done. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to deal with. So yeah, let me know if this helped you whatsoever in the comments below. I'd love to hear some feedback, like I've been saying in my previous videos, on how I can improve or produce a better video for you guys on the channel for this particular type of guide content. Now, there shouldn't be any more raids coming out next week. Dear God, I hope not. Are you excited for Realm of Destroyed Evil? I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired. My mind hurts. My brain is broken. My heart, it aches for another vacation, I think. But I think we'll get through it. And again, if you need more help, you can go to my captain assistant at solo.sarumonin.com, where you can download all the files, or you can download them individually, or you can look for the YouTube icon on that particular raid that will be highlighted there somewhere. You can click on it and it will take you to the video guide for that particular raid. So yeah, just let me know if this guide helped you in the comments below and we'll talk about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable fucking bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.